Welcome to the ETBU Sports Net. Mark T. Robinson back again. We're back on the Zoom interviews, and that can only be one thing, that it's summertime. We are doing our annual top 10 countdown. We're talking about individual moments, and one of the brightest moments last season was Mallory Stephens and her big game against UMHB in the ASC Championship, 29 points in the matchup, and we're at number 7 on our list so far in our top 10. So Mallory is with us right now. Mel, it's been a fantastic year for you guys, 25 straight wins. And just first of all, before we get into any of that type of stuff, how are you enjoying your summer so far, and what's been going on for you?
I've been enjoying it. It's been fun. I have been home. And I've been doing a lot of subbing because I just graduated with my teaching certification. So I've just been subbing at my high school where I went to school, old stomping grounds. And so it's been pretty easy, just, on the gun shooting. I just actually got back from Marshall for a couple days and kind of hung out with some of the girls on the team and met a lot of the new freshmen. And so that was fun to play open gym with them and kind of hang out with the people that are going to make us better next year. So it's been good.
Absolutely. So just kind of take me back a little bit. I know it's been a couple months for you guys to kind of process this. I was with you guys for pretty much most of the journey all year last year. So just kind of talk about in that moment, you guys are going up against a UMHB. It's arguably not arguably, it's the tightest matchup you guys have had all year long as a big test. And then all of a sudden, you just kind of went off. You kind of took over a little bit there. So just kind of talk to me about what was your mindset during that game, and how did that feel to know that you were the big driving force keeping your team in the game?
Yeah. Well, the game was crazy. And to be honest, Mark, I haven't even gone back and watched it because it honestly makes me sick to my stomach thinking about that game. And just how it ended, just because our team and the girls and the coaches and me just invested so much this last season into each other and just getting better. And so it's easy to get into the mindset of, we didn't prove anything last season because we didn't win a ring. And so I just have to keep reminding myself that that wasn't the case. And every single game that we won and the game that we lost is all working up to what we're going to do this next season. And so when I think about that game, I'm it's frustrating because I did play really well, but we still didn't end up winning. So it's kind of that back and forth of that game was so much fun, but it would have been a lot more memorable and a lot more fun if we ended up winning. So I'm just really trying to take that game and the feeling that I have of just kind of disappointment and frustration, and I'm really trying to work on turning it into getting better next year so that I never have to have that heartbreaking feeling again. I don't think that we thought we were going to lose in a sense. I think we were very confident in just our ability and how we had gotten better. And so I think that's why the loss hurt so bad, is because not that we had expected to win, but we knew how much work we had put into that game. And so, yeah. And so that was very frustrating, but truthfully, from my point of view, it didn't feel a whole lot different than any other game, I guess, at the beginning. Obviously I was more nervous and there was a lot more on the line, but I was kind of just playing like it was any other game. And I think that I play more comfortable that way, because when I put pressure on myself, I just tend to don't do the best. So honestly, I didn't even know that I was playing as good as I was until the end of the game. And I think it was the fourth three that I hit, or maybe the third, and Coach A had called the timeout right after I hit it, seconds after the ball went in the net. And Coach A, me and Coach A are, pretty close, and we're pretty good friends and we think the same. And I tend to get very excited and worked up. And so he tries to be the chill one and just kind of keep my feet rooted on the ground. And after that, I hit that third or fourth three. I think he almost ran to half court. He was so excited and just pumped up and just trying to get us ready to go. And I don't know, we just all kind of had that confidence of okay, it's game time, we're going to win. So like when you think about the outcome, it's just a little frustrating because you have those memories of like hope and you have those memories of like wanting to win so bad, and then the outcome wasn't, what we thought. But yeah, it truly like felt like any other game.
Absolutely. And it's funny that you mentioned Coach Blake and you mentioned the relationship that you guys kind of have as friends, kind of have the same mindset and things like that. So kind of talk to me what that first year was like playing under him, because it felt like not only yourself, but everybody else on the team had this great confidence and everybody just kind of played really relaxed. So just kind of talk to me about what it was like with that first year under Coach Blake.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting. I've never played under someone as like fun, but also as competitive as Coach A. And I think me and him are a lot alike in that area. Like we are goofballs, but also like we want to win in every aspect of our life, whether that's us playing board games at his house or us making dumb competitions in the office, all the way to us winning a championship. So like, I don't know, like we kind of had that friendship right off the bat his first year whenever he was the assistant. And so it was kind of fun that we kind of got to like form a relationship of like kind of being friends, and like all of us kind of became really good, just like family friends with him and Shelby and Foster. And like we would go play games all the time at their house. And so with him taking the head coaching job this year, it was kind of just like, I don't know, it was like fun. Like I was like, oh, we're going to have fun. And Coach A, like, this is a compliment to him, but like he is annoyingly the most confident person that I have ever met. Like at the beginning of the year, whenever COVID was still happening and we were trying to find teams to play, and like we were trying to drive anywhere and everywhere to play basketball. Like we would have driven across 10 states if it meant we got to play a basketball game. And so Coach A was reaching out to every single team in the state of Texas, NAIA, Division III, Division II, Division I. And I remember at one point we were supposed to play, I don't know if it was Lamar or if it was SFA. And I walked in his office and I was like, oh, like, I was just like, oh gosh, like we're about to go and like get embarrassed, but like, at least like, it'll be a fun experience to drive down there and like play in a really cool gym. And he just looked at me and he was like, Mallory, we're winning. And I was like, just laughing because I was like, what do you mean we're winning? Like I think we might have played a scrimmage up to this point, or like one game. And like, we're just a bunch of babies, it felt like. And so I was like, okay, Coach A, like, I'm sure like we're going to win. And like, we came out like punching them in the mouth. Like, I think we like scored the first 10 points or something like that. And we beat them. And like, I don't know, like he just never lacks confidence, not only in himself, but in any of us, like in anything we do. Even if I like was the worst shooter on the team, he would never let me know that I was the worst shooter on the team, because like, I feel like personally, like whenever you're confident about something, like that makes you 10 times better in general, because you're playing with like just being comfortable and you're playing with swag and like, you're just kind of balling. And so that was kind of like our goal all year, was like just hoop, like no matter what offense it is, no matter what we're doing, like just go hoop, because you're all college athletes and like you all can put the ball in the hoop. So like just go do it, And so truthfully, like a lot of my like personal success this year is because of how, like, without a shadow of a doubt, I knew that if anyone was in my corner, it was going to be Coach A.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was definitely a spectacular thing to watch you guys all year long. And kind of new from the jump, the first, I want to say 2 games that we played when we ended up going to Alabama or something like that, Alabama. I knew this was a special team, and Coach Blake, as you kind of talked about, did a great job this year, kind of instilling that confidence and things like that. And once you guys ended up knocking off the D1 team, McNeese, I was like, okay, this is a team that is going to be fun to watch. It's going to be a great team for a long time. But just got to talk a little bit about the journey for you guys. Is there one part of the year, or was it kind of a group of experiences that kind of stands out to you guys from everything that happened throughout the year?
Yeah. So what's kind of funny is so at the end of the year, we had like a team party. It was like before school ended. And Coach Shaw, one of our assistant coaches, she, at the beginning of the year, so she came from a high school in Colorado, and every year she would give one of her players a video camera to document the entire season of like what they were doing. So whenever she came here this year, she brought the video camera and she gave it to one of the freshmen, Stelzer, and she kind of gave it to like all of us, like use it if you want, but Emma took it and ran with it. Like she was vlogging the entire season, the good, the bad, the ugly, the tears, everything. And so at the end of the year at our party, Coach Shaw took all of the footage. And I mean, we started that footage the first day of practice. And so like months of random footage that I know was probably so annoying for her to go through, but she took all of that footage and made like a 10-minute movie of like all of our best and like funniest memories. And that will be something that I probably keep for the rest of my life, because I've told people this, but I have never had a season the way that I had a season this year, not even wins and losses, but just like truly feeling like the Lord was working in the relationships that I was a part of this year. And like people were truly striving to be like Jesus. And yes, we were sinful. And yes, we did things that are not our cultural norm and don't glorify the Lord. And like as a family, like we've had to work through those things and like look at what sin is and like what isn't okay and like walk through what is, because we are striving to be like Jesus. And like that is an impossible task to do because Jesus was perfect and like we aren't. But it's just really cool how like we've had to hold each other accountable. And like yes, that gets frustrating, and yes, that's like disappointing, but I truly feel like it's like made us more of a family than anything, because like we are pushing each other to be the best, not even in basketball, but we're pushing each other to be better women of the Lord and like to be better friends and to be better like people in general. And so like honestly, I don't even think I could pick a moment of this last season where I was like, oh, like that was my favorite moment of the year, because every single day I woke up joyful to go to practice and see my favorite people on this earth. And like it was the people on my team. And like it's just crazy because like I can confidently say that like they are like my best friends for life. And I know that's super cliche and I know people say that all the time, but like some of those girls will like be in my wedding one day, and like that's super cool to think about, because like it's super cool how the Lord has like blessed me and all of us with like other girls who like whose hearts are set on Jesus but also set on like being competitive. And like that's super hard to find, because I think society has made athletes think that like you have to sacrifice your relationship with the Lord to like be this competitive athlete. And like I think that's the biggest thing that we've tried to instill in like our audience and people that follow along and watch us, is like you can be a competitive athlete and you can be successful and you can still glorify the Lord doing it, like with the way you talk, with the way you act, and like with the way you carry yourself. And so I think that's the thing that I would be like most grateful for about this season of life and like this year, is like I, for the first time, got to play basketball and got to chase after Jesus. And they were one thing. Like I didn't have to sacrifice my faith or like sacrifice what I believed to be a part of a team that was competitive. Like we were a competitive freaking basketball team, and like we were successful, but we also like loved Jesus and chased after Jesus. And so I think that's what I would be most grateful for looking back, is like I got to play basketball with my best friends, and I got to talk about Jesus every single day. So like it's a win-win, because like Jesus and basketball are my favorite things ever. So like, you know.
Absolutely. Well, you didn't have a specific moment, but I did. And one of the things that kind of stood out to me was after the game against UMHB or at Sol Ross, we were kind of all in the locker room, and when one of the workers came up and said that, you know, that this is a different team, and she kind of prayed with us and things like that. That kind of was the absolute definition of what this team has set out to do and what you guys have been kind of working towards. And like you said, living for Christ and things like that. That was kind of the sum of what you guys have done that entire year. Wouldn't you kind of say that's the mission for you guys?
Oh yeah. And it like, what is cool about the grace of God and like the faithfulness of who he is, like he did not have to give us validation in that way. Like we could have played all year and like tried to show people Christ and like talked about Jesus and like lived for Jesus. And even if that lady didn't walk into our locker room and tell us that, like we would have still had to rely on the fact that like God is good and like he worked through us, even though we didn't get a championship, you know? So it's just super cool that like the Lord being just as cool as he is and as loving as he is, like through the most heartbreaking moment you can have as an athlete, like he still found a way to show us his goodness. And like by that lady coming to the locker room, like we were heartbroken and like I was sobbing and there was snot all in my jersey and like, you know, I was like completely defeated. And like the Lord used that lady to like walk into our locker room and say like, Mallory, you did not win a championship, but you advanced the kingdom with the way that you and your team played basketball this year. And like, that's the biggest validation that I could get. And like, that's truthfully, like, even though it might not seem like it at times, like that is more important and that is bigger than any ring that we would have gotten from winning that game, because that ring is materialistic and that championship is materialistic, but people giving their life to the Lord and spending eternity in heaven with Christ is eternal. And like that, and I lose track of that all the time because obviously I'm sinful and I'm human and I want to win and be competitive, like I said, but like, it's just a constant reminder. And like, that's a really good point that you said that, because it's very easy to think about all the highs from this year on a basketball standpoint, but like that was the biggest moment for sure, because like I truly feel like Christ looked down on us and smiled because he was pleased with like the work that we did and like the way that we honored him. And like, it's so cool that he used some stranger to tell us that, you know, like It wasn't like it was a parent or a friend or like a friend or a friend. Like it was literally some random lady from some other school that said that she saw Jesus through social media, because she's never watched us play up until that game. So like all year she said she's kind of been following along and she could just tell that there was something different. And then after that game, she saw the way that we handled it and knew in that moment that like we were doing something bigger than basketball. And so like, that's just crazy that the Lord can use people like that to like, I don't know, kind of just say like, you're on the right track. Like your work is good. And like, it is for me and it is glorifying. So like, keep it up. And so like, that's just a good reminder going into next year too. It's like, I want to win so bad, obviously, but like, I never, ever, ever need to lose sight of the fact that like my purpose here on this earth is to advance the kingdom and to tell people about Jesus. And so like, if I'm not doing that through basketball, then what I'm doing with basketball is pointless. So like, yeah, that was my TED talk. So anyways, but yeah.
Definitely enjoyed it for sure. But my last question for you is a very important one. So
Okay.
when do I get to see this video that you guys have been working on? Because I've seen you guys kind of, recording on all the trips and stuff. And I know I made an appearance on there once or twice. So when do we get to see that?
That is a good question. There is a lot of raw footage in there, I would say, like us at our true natural self, which is all good things, like, but honestly, like with the season that we're in, it will probably be for our eyes only. But I'm not saying in like 5 years or a 10-year reunion when we all hang out that video won't surface social media one day. So you'll just have to be keeping your eye out for it because it is so funny. But yes.
Absolutely. Well, it was great talking to you again, Mel, and keep up the good work for sure. And we look forward to seeing you out here on the court again for ETBU.
Me too. Thanks for talking to me, Mark. This is super fun.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Bye.